A relation is a mapping of input values with output values. More simply put, a relation changes one number into another number. Now, the number that you put into the relation, the input, all of the inputs make up the domain. We've heard that word before, domain. The output that you get out of the relation is the range. We've also heard that word. Now, you might know the word domain because we use it when we're talking about X. And you might know the word range because we use it when we're talking about Y. And it shows up that way in relations and in functions. Now, there are a lot of different ways that we can represent a relation. We could represent it as a set of ordered pairs, and if we do, an ordered pair would look like X, comma, Y in parentheses. Now, that means that all of these ordered pairs, these numbers, -2, -2, 0, and 3, are all the X values, which means they are all the domain. And if this is the entire relation, then this is the entire domain. Now, the 2, -2, 1, and 1 make up the Y values, so they are the range. And you can see these values are repeated here for the X values and here for the Y values. This is a chart. Now, a chart basically is exactly the same information as a set of ordered pairs, but we list it in this form. On your calculator, the graphing calculator, this is the form that you will see the points being listed in. The graphing calculator will usually not just give you the coordinate points. Although if we were to just put parentheses around this, these would all be exactly the same coordinate points. Another way you can represent a relation is with a graph. Now here we have a graph of the same set of ordered pairs. Now you can see our first ordered pair is -2, 2. And if we go to our graph, we see -2 on the x-axis and +2 on the y-axis is right here. -2, -2, again -2 on the x, this time -2 on the y. 0 and 1, since the x value is 0, it doesn't move, and the y value moves up to 1. And the last one, x is 3, so 1, 2, 3, and the y value is 1. So that's that point. This is a visual representation of the relationship. Now the last way you might see it is as a mapping. A mapping is generally a couple of ovals or squares or circles with the numbers being listed inside. Now as you can see, these numbers, -2, 0, and 3, are the same as my numbers here. The -2 is repeated in my ordered pairs and on my chart, so it's only listed once on the mapping diagram. 0 and 3 both show up. And the same thing over on the output, the y values. The -2 here, the 2, and the 1. The 1 value is repeated on my ordered pairs and in my chart, right here, but there's only one of them on the mapping diagram. And what the mapping diagram does for us is that it lets us visually see how the relationship works. We can visually see that the input -2 goes to both -2 and 2. We can visually see that both inputs 0 and 3, both of them go to the output of 1.